Hey family, we are live, broadcasting live. This is the Conversation Room 101. Make sure it's only adults in the house. I need your mind to be open, prepared, and relaxed. Welcome to our home. Take your shoes off. We got some rules we need to go over. Be kind. No cursing in the chat. If you want to curse, call in. And no shouting out other channels. That's a no-no. We got one other rule. There is no judging our guests. It will not be permitted. Zero tolerance. And if so, you want to do that, guess what? We got security. And we will escort you out. Because over here, hashtag we don't care. We're going to be one big family. We're going to laugh together sometimes. We're going to cry. But we definitely going to pray. I thank the Lord above for everything. I lift him up and give him the glory. But you guys, right now, we're going to get our popcorn. And then we're going to see what's going on. And let me just park my car. And I'll be in there in a minute. I see you soon.
The Copyright Disclaimer Act. The Copyright Disclaimer Act under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comments, news, reporting, teaching, scholarships, and research. Fair use is used permitted by copyright statutes that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use.
Like, share, subscribe.
Do you want to know? Well, I've been thinking about you. And I think I'll have to listen. Because the sun is up, it's a beautiful day. My beginning will be as bright as the sun. Come, won't you come along? And it feels so right, it's like luck is raining on me. Go and follow your heart, doesn't matter how far. There is so much love to give. Something's telling me this time. Baby, baby, now baby, baby, gotta go. There is so much love to give. Something's telling me it's right.
Neighbors and the
When you
community
came to me,
compelled
who
to
are
scour
you?
the area.
It's you, yeah, boy.
Where does the fault lie on you?
Hey family, how's everybody doing? Come on in, you guys. I knew my phone would ring. Hold on. So, okay, I'm sorry, you guys. I knew my phone would ring. It ain't rung all morning. Now, that was my son. But anyway, I'll see what he want in a minute. We just come on here because you know what's been on my mind. You guys know. How's everybody doing? It is February the 7th, 2026. I want to say hey to Zena. Zena's in the building. Amari's in the building. How you doing? How you doing? Lisa Taylor's in the building. Ruby Turner's in the building. How you guys doing? I know it was hard to sleep last night. Misty Blue, how you doing? Happy Saturday to you too. Mods in the chat. How are you guys doing? Good. How's everybody doing? Make sure that you like and share this video, you guys. So I know yesterday we were talking about Codi and the video went longer than expected, but I wanted to share. I wanted to just let's talk about it real quick early this morning because Codi's been on my heart. Codi's been on your heart. You guys, it was merely some uncovered information that we had got and made a call, and it was confirmed that yes, Codi is not on the National Missing and Exploited Children poster anymore, which was disturbing. Um, like I read it to you guys and then I said, well, hold on, let me just call. Here's a phone number here. Let me just call this phone number, and I know it's national uh exploited children, missing children, whatever. But let me just call this number because see, people think that they put a number out, nobody's gonna call, nobody's gonna ask those questions. They can say what they want to say. No, I want to know. I want to know. I'm sorry, you guys, but when I read something and I go, oh my God, what are they talking about? Are they serious? This cannot be true. Well, I don't go and say, let me go look to see. I say, well, let me call them and ask them myself because I'd rather hear it from the horse's mouth. And that is something we are very famous for doing. Baby, don't even get me started. I will call no matter what. So some people reached out to me and was like, oh my God, SP, you know, you're going to get in trouble. Get in trouble for what? It's public information. Get in trouble for what? Asking a question like why? See, that's what I see. There's people in and I hate to say this, but they have that slave mentality. Okay? The slave mentality is, oh my goodness, why would you call? You're not family. What do you mean I'm not family? Yes, I am family. I am a part of the public in the community. I don't care what state I'm in. It's like, do you not understand what that meant? That's just not like saying, oh, okay, we got the alphabets. We're just going to take, the C out the alphabet and everybody just go on. That is not it's like a slap in the face. It's like, hey, we didn't know. Why we didn't know? It's like it was like hitting in my gut. Like somebody just took a ball, like a baseball, not a basketball, a baseball, you guys, or softball, whatever you want to call it. And if you've ever been hit with a softball before and somebody just threw it and hit you in your gut, when I read that, I was like, you guys need to hear what I just read. Let's stop and read this again. You know what? I'm just saying when I read something, there's certain things that comes out and I go, what the heck? Okay, if I don't understand what I just read and I read it and I read it and I read it, I didn't only read it one time. I read it and I read it again. I said, you guys, did you hear what I just read? Hey, hold on. Okay, I read it again. People read stuff and then they go, oh, well, okay. All right, And I'm sitting there like, I can't believe they reported this, that Codi's not on there. And so, and I'm thinking to myself, well, let me take a cough drop here before I start crouping and coughing and stuff. And everybody be like, you're still sick. No, I'm not. I rebuke that in the name of Jesus. I just got the symptoms. But anyway, I can read something one time and I'll be like, hold on. Okay, let's get some definitions here. Let's get some definitions of what is what. Like she was like, yeah, explain it to me. I don't care how dumb it may sound, like, oh, you got to be this expert and you got to know what each, abbreviation means and all this other stuff. I may not know, but okay, let's Google it because we are the older generation. Let's Google it. Okay, so it says the NIC and NCI, whatever it was, NIC, NICI. Okay, let's figure out what that is. Okay, they say that they can't do nothing because there's no picture. in the National Mission and Exploited Children, and we're going, hold on now, he's supposed to have a picture in there, and everybody should be able to see this child, and 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 as he was missing in 2022, they took it down in 2023. So okay, so January 31st, 2022 he was reported missing. And so in 2023, we don't know what month, what day it was taken down, but it was taken down in 2023. So that's 1 year. So it was just up for 1 year. Why? Why was it? Why was it? And so I asked myself the question, and you guys, like, sometimes when we talk about something and something enters our spirit that goes, okay, we read it. If it doesn't make sense, I don't care who you are. I don't care how mad it gets you. It should, the weirdest thing, it should not get anybody mad because somebody wants to know what happened, who dropped the ball, how did the ball get dropped, what was the reason, or even if you can't tell me, let me make the call and ask the question. Because what question is it that is so bad that you cannot make a phone call? She can't see me, I can't see her. I don't know what she looked like. I don't know what color she is. I don't know where she even stationed at. If she's stationed in Georgia, she's stationed in Virginia, or she's stationed in Washington. I don't know. I didn't ask those questions because it doesn't. I don't care. I just want to know. Okay, you're gonna answer the question. You're gonna answer a question, whether it's with I can't tell you, I don't know, but you're gonna have to say it in a nice, respectful way. You just can't say, that's none of your business. You're going to, because we are the public. Period. We are concerned citizens to what's happening to these children. And when you're not concerned, you're not going to ask the question. You're going to let things just happen like a slave mentality does and sit back and go, oh. And here's the thing. It'll be like this. It'll be like, oh, well, you don't know. And that's the way they do things. And who are you to ask? And why are you asking? And why are you calling? And the father is already convicted. And but what? Why are you? Why are you calling? No, the question should be, why are you not calling? So, sometimes I am so happy that my phone, when I charge it, it goes dead really quick. That my phone, like, I just be like, yeah, go ahead and text to the number and tell me how mad, how angry, how upset you are that I made a phone call. Okay? Because at the end of the day, somebody needs to ask. Somebody needs to ask those questions, because you know what normally happens? Nobody asks no questions because they feel like they are beneath. They feel like we don't have a right. Yeah, you do have a right. You do have a right to ask the questions. Hey, could you tell me what's going on here? Let me share something with you guys. And I kid you not, this is true. This is all about just me right now. Let me just share something with you about my stand and my understanding and my growth in my environment and what makes me who I am. First of all, I love the Lord. Okay? Lord, Jesus, the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit. I love the Lord. Okay? Okay. So number one is I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid of somebody cussing me out, calling me names, saying that they don't like me or whatever. Okay? So let's get that straight. That's number one. That's number one on the radar. If you don't know, now you know. So I don't have a problem with asking. Now, at one point in time of my life when I did live, and I connected to the north side of town, but amongst my people that look just like me, whether you go to the store, you go to the corner, you go to the service station, you go get some food, everybody looked like me. And I lived in this community. This is right here in town, and it was a low income area that everybody lived close knit or whatever. So I thought to myself, when I grow up, I don't want to live in this area. Why? I see a lot of crime, I see a lot of drugs, I see a lot of police brutality, I see a lot of like, I feel like the education, even though I went to school, I wasn't getting the better education. I felt like that. Well, being a child, you would think this child doesn't know. Yeah, a child knows when you go to school and you see other schools, they over there with, you know, their teachers, and they got their skirts on and they're all printed and everybody looks the same. And then they've got these books, and you got Jane Run books, and then they got these educated books, and they're at the front of the line, and they're behaving well, and then you're over here with this group of people, and everybody's going out of line, talking back to the teacher, and everybody got on whatever they got on, they trying to fit some kind of fashion style or whatever. And so I said to myself, I want better education. Now, I may not never get it, which I did not, because I was a child, but if I ever get a chance to get a better education and get treated better and everything, I'm going to go for it. So I'm going to go out of this box that I'm in because of, my color and my gender and my financial status. You're going to make minimum wage or whatever, because I'm not going to be able to go to college. My family don't have money. I don't have money. How am I going to get money when I don't even have if I even finish school? So yeah, I did leave home at a young age, but even though I left home at 14, I'm like, you know what? I'm still going to finish school. My mom thought, no, that girl's fast. She's going to end up pregnant with all these kids, and she's not going to go to school. She's not even going to get her diploma. But my mother did not know that I've been sending myself to school since I was really literally in the 4th and 5th grade. My mother was a big woman. She didn't go to the school, fill out the papers. I filled out the papers. The signature of my mother was my signature. So anytime that something like, we're going on a field trip and your mom needs to sign it, I just sign it. My mother's signature is my signature. So they can't sit there and go, well, this signature is different. My signature was my mother's signature all through my whole school year. She says she'll tell me to sign this. I said, Mama, I need this signed. She says, well, sign it. And I just go, okay. So I signed my mother's name. I got so good at it that when I transferred schools, we need your mom to sign this. Okay. I'll leave, come back the next day. Here you go. They just look at the signature and go, well, that's her mom's signature. Yeah, it is. Because I want to finish doing it. When I thought that at one particular time that I wasn't going to graduate because I was going to work instead of going to the English classes. They said, "You're not going to graduate." And I was like, I got to graduate because my mother says that I need a high school diploma and I got to graduate. They says, "Well, you're going to have to take another year." And I was like, I don't want to take another year. And so I called other schools up. And once I called other schools and I said, "Hey, I'm wondering, do you guys got 2, 3 English classes I can take in my 12th year? Because the other schools will not give me 2 or 3 English classes, but I'm willing to take them. It's not that I'm dumb or, they was like, well, why did you fail it?" And I told them, I said, I failed because I worked. So instead of going to English, I just left the school for the whole year, 2 years straight, and just went to work at noon because I have to be at work at 1 o'clock or 12 o'clock. Part of it was my lunch time, but nevertheless, it wasn't that like, I don't know the stuff or I just can't read or write or whatever. It's just, I gotta go. I got rent. I got rent. I've got to pay rent so I can have a roof over my head. And so they were like, okay, so what we'll do, this is what they told me. You think you can handle 3 English classes in the 12th grade? Yeah. If you give them to me 0 hours, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, then I take my history, 10 o'clock, and then, whatever other credit I need, take that government, da 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 da. They was like, okay, you'll take English 1, English 2, English 3, and then your government and history. Okay, I'll do that. They say, you think you can do it? I don't really have a choice. I got to do it. And then if something goes wrong, I'll take a summer class or something, but I got to graduate. So I did that. And guess what? I graduated. I took all the classes all in 1 year and graduated. You guys, I didn't walk across the stage because guess what? Nobody's going to come. Who's going to come to my graduation? Who? I'm out in the world by myself. So I graduated. Okay? Nobody's going to come. My mom's not going to come because she doesn't leave the home. She was like 400 or 500 pounds. She's not going to leave the house. And so, nope, if mom don't come, nobody else is going to come. I live out on my own. I couldn't tell them, hey, I'm 14 years old and I live out on my own. They would have called CPS and they would have came and got me. So I ain't telling them nothing. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do what I got to do. I'm going to go to school and play like, yeah, I do live with a parent or an adult, and I'm going to be at school every day. And there's people like that in this world, you guys. Don't act like like, okay, if you guys want to think that you had a rough life, think about a child making it in school with no adult to support them, 14, 15, 16, 17. Okay? It's hard. It's very hard. Every decision you make, it's got to be, you got to learn to cook, clean, wash your tail, pay bills, and make it to school, and go to work. And I work 2 jobs. Hello. Okay? Yeah. So, yeah, I pat myself on the back. Did that. But anyway, getting back on to what we were talking about. So, did that. But I took myself out of the box of being on the north side of the town, and I got in the middle of the town, and it was diverse. It was black, white, Latino, Asians, and everything. So it was a little bit better. And I started seeing, like, especially when you go to the store or something, you go to the store, they cheated you with your money, you try to complain, they look at you crazy, you be like, oh my God, I better not say nothing because um I'm young, I'm a black girl, they're trying to say, I gave you a 20, you trying to give me change for 5, like I gave you a 10. And no, so I didn't make a big issue out of it. I still had the mentality of the low income in the box, north side thinking. But then, long as time went on, and I go to the store, and then I'm standing in line, and this woman says, "Oh no," and it was a white woman. I remember it. It was a white woman, and this white woman, and it didn't happen just one time. It happened many times. And she was like, "No, ma'am, I gave you a $20 bill, and you're going to give me my change right back." And she was like, "No, ma'am, you gave me a 10." She was like, "No, ma'am, I gave you a 20. Get your manager over here right now. I only got 20s. I don't have no 10s. Da 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 da." And so I'm standing there and I'm like, oh my goodness, this white woman is debating with the cash register that, she's standing her ground saying, look here, I'm not moving until you give me my right change back, woo, 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 da, 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 da. She's making a little bit of a big scene. She's like, the manager comes over and then they be like, I'm sorry, ma'am. That's okay. Let us just go ahead and get this right. And she was like, yeah, why would I want, it's only but $4. She said, but I work hard for that $4, da, 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 da. Whoop de whoop de woo, you're calling me a liar, da 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 da. And that's like, I'm so sorry, ma'am. You have to go through this. Here's your change. Welcome, come back again, and everything. And I'm like, I'm standing there in line, like, really? Really? Because if I would have done that prior in my life, man, they would have told me to get out of here or whatever. But then I moved from that area to a dominating white area. And guess what? Anytime I seen situations like that, especially in stores or, working somewhere and somebody was not happy with their service, they come in, they be like, let me speak to the manager. I don't want to talk to you. Let me speak to the manager. And you be like, oh, okay. And you go get the manager, and the manager comes and they go da 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 da, and they tell their story. And they was like, and I am a customer, and you're not gonna treat me this way, da 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 da, and all of that, right? So, I'm like, wow. So then I started getting kind of encouraged that if something was not right, not just with money, you guys, but something was not right, you need to stand up for yourself and don't have that slave mentality or that low income uh you know ghetto type of mentality. Stand on what you're doing, because at this time, things can let's see what's going on in the chat. So things can always get out of hand, but if you just go ahead and stand on it, and let's just see what happens. So I've done it a couple of times, and especially when they want to always people want to always think that they can count money better. Now, if you can count money really good, which I can count really quick, really fast, backwards, forwards, right in the middle or whatever. And I say, hey, no, I gave you a $50 bill. You're trying to give me change for a 20. this is not going to work. And she was like, ma'am, I know what I did. I said, okay, well, let's call the manager. Let's call the manager right now. And the manager comes back and was like, ma'am, we don't even have a 50 in our cash register. I said, yes, you do. She stuck it in the bottom. That's what she did. She stuck my 50 in the bottom of the cash register, and I want my change back. And roll back the cameras. I'm not going nowhere. Call 911, call the police, and play back those cameras because I need my money. And then they're like, well, hold on. And they was like, well, we'll let us go see. And they go to the cameras and find out that I gave her a freaking $50 bill. Oh, we're so sorry. You did give her a $50 bill. Let us give you your change. We're so sorry that you had to go through this, blah, 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 blah. Now, I'm not going to sit there and claim something that I did not do and did not do right. Okay? I'm just not going to do it. Because you will get caught in and be embarrassed. But what I'm saying to you guys is I've learned that if you are in the right and you're a customer, you're the public, you're concerned, you have the right to ask questions, there's nothing wrong with asking a question to anybody when especially you pay taxes. Now, hold on. Now, anybody that owns a house, you're paying taxes. I don't get a tax refund at the end of the year. I'm paying taxes at the end of the year. Every year, I'm paying taxes. And I not only own one home, I own 3. Okay? I used to own 6. I sold some of them, but yeah. Hold on. You see what I'm saying? So I'm paying. I get mad. I tell them, they say, oh, your kids, we're going to kick your kids out of school for the rest of the year and da-da-da-da-da. I'm going to the court and be like, no, you're not. I'm a taxpayer. I pay for that school there. I not only pay for that one, I pay taxes on this house, that house, that house. I pay for the roads. I pay for the hospitals. I pay for the schools. I pay for all the improvements that's going on. So I have a right to ask questions. I told you guys, I met Jesse Jackson back in it had to be in 90. My kids was already born. So my daughter was born in 90. So it had to be in around about 98, 1998, 1997. I went to Chicago at the they call it the Rainbow Coalition. It's a church up there. And I'm gonna tell you something. I was surprised to realize that the church, we have really nice churches here. The bricks ain't falling down and falling out, and everything is all in order. So to go to that church and they call it the Rainbow Coalition, and it was a big thing. It was horrible what I seen, but nevertheless, I met up with Jesse Jackson. And we sat down and we had breakfast the next morning. We got there that evening. We talked a little bit. So he wanted to take me out on the town. I declined because I was married. Okay. Anyway, you guys, I was married at the time. So anyway, so the next morning we sit down and we all had breakfast, and Jesse had a little thing for me, but I'm pretty sure he had a thing for everybody that had legs. Okay. It didn't really matter. But anyway, nevertheless, Jesse Jackson is very smart, very intelligent man. And back then he kind of looked good. Hey, Tina, how you doing? I see you in the building. But anyway, nevertheless, Jesse Jackson taught me that when you are invested in, like, in every job that you get, invest, get your 401k, buy your stocks, buy your bonds. That way, when things happen, you can ask questions and they have to answer you. And so just like you're in the public, like you if you buy a house, you're invested. So yes, you have the right to ask these questions and they have to provide you a answer. It may not be the answer that you want, but when you are invested in these things, no matter how far you are or what's going on. And I learned that just like I learned when I worked at Boeing. I was working at Boeing at the time. He says, be invested. That is why, when they sold Boeing to Spirit, so they say, they paid for my schooling, they bought me out, they gave me, hundreds thousands of dollars. Yeah, and I still got stocks and bonds in Boeing. And now what did Boeing just do a couple of months ago? Spirit is out, Boeing is back in because they just wanted to get rid of the lawsuits. Hello, I'm just telling y'all like a TI is. Anyway, nevertheless, you can go to the board meetings, you can ask questions, you can ask why they're only hiring, 2 women against 100 men. You can ask why you only hired 1 black person to 200 white people. You can ask these questions and saying, hey, what's going on here? I'm an investor, so what's going on? Why are you guys not hiring this and or doing that? Nevertheless, you can ask questions. You can always take it to the board, because once you're an investor, and we all are investors because we are part of the public, and you pay taxes, or whatever, you work a job, you pay taxes. You could ask those questions, and it's public record. You can ask, you can call, just like I can call the jail and say, hey, do y'all have such and such down there? I ain't got to be married to the person, they ain't got to be my kid, they got to tell me if they got such and such down there at the jail. They got to tell me. They be like, who are you? Oh, I'm Sally Sue. How do you're not gonna know if I'm Sally Sue or not? But so what? I still want to know. Do you have Monique Advantage down there at the jail? They got to tell you. So some people be like, oh man, that's public info. No, you can ask these questions. And anytime that it is a service to the community, just like, National Exploited Children or whatever, they got a 1-800 number. Well, call and just ask the question. People don't get mad because I call and you don't call. You don't call because you're still stuck in the 1990s, or you still stuck in 1980 something. I don't know, but I'm not stuck there. I'm gonna ask these questions, and I just thank God that like I want to know why. Now, so we made the call last night or yesterday evening, and it wasn't good, the answer that we got. We're talking about the Codi. We're talking about Codi. This is Codi conversation. And they said, if you wasn't here yesterday when the call went through, go back. You can listen to the whole phone call and what the woman said. But in a nutshell, she said, I can't tell you. Okay, you can't tell me, but can you tell me why it is that a child is missing and has not been found, is now not on the poster anymore, when you still got other kids, smart on there, you got this child on there, you got kids back in 1920 still on there. Why this kid is not on there? And you know what? And it's funny because It's not only what you ask, it's how you ask. Because, she's like, she was trying to say, I know it's disturbing, but so I can literally say, the woman that I probably was talking to was Caucasian, and she was like, but I just can't tell you. Well, okay, I understand. What's your name? And she said, Liz. So, okay, Liz, but I want to know what makes it that you think that it's okay to have other kids on there and Cody's not on there. Now we're getting into details and emotions, which I'm not really. That's just how I get people to tell me more information. That's what I do. I get people to tell me more information because now I'm talking with my emotions, even though I know what I'm trying to get you. Oh, we're not just going to get off this phone because you're on the other line and you can't see me and I can't see you. What we're going to do is we're going to talk about what is your job and what is my job, and or why it is that you guys can make this and what makes it okay. Tina says, I'll go ahead and say it. You got them children up there, but let it be okay. Exactly. So Tina said it because I want to know, but I didn't say that. But you guys were understanding the the reason behind the questioning without bringing out the race card. You guys understand what I'm saying? Without saying why you have the white kids up there, but it's so quickly that to snatch down the black kid, and you don't even you didn't even warn nobody. We're still all thinking for 3 years you've had this kid out there that everybody can see his picture, that knows that he's missing. He's still missing, and what he looks like or whatever, and nobody said anything. You didn't even put on there that his picture's not up there. Oh, but he's still active. It's still active. She's like, oh, but it's still active. So why is it? So when we got the information of why, what she said was, we did get an answer. The answer was she can't tell us the specific reason why, but there's many reasons why his picture can be taken down. But the police actually request for his picture to be taken down for either the safety of the child, if the child is being trafficking, held against his will, or trying to rescue the child. That's one reason. Another reason, if the child is found, that's another reason. But anytime that they take a picture down, it is a reason why. They just don't do it because it's a black child. You know what I'm saying? There's a reason. She said, and also, and we read misinformation. Okay? It could be because of misinformation. Okay? So, y'all see what I'm saying? So, why would the police tell them, take down that picture? Why? Why would the police say, take down Codi Bixby picture? He only was missing for 1 year. Take that picture down. I am so glad we put up that billboard. We put up a billboard right here in Wichita. Actually, we had two of them, you guys. We had two of them. Yeah, we had the two main highways. One runs north and south all the way up in Nebraska, all the way up there, North Dakota, South Dakota, all the way down to Texas and Louisiana, the north and south highway. That's where that highway run. And then we put one up on that was I-35, and then we put one on 235, which runs east and west, which runs from like New York up there, New York, Michigan, Chicago. That's going eastward bound up there, Virginia, up there, all the way to the west part of town of the United States. Colorado, back up there in Washington, and all over there. Okay. So that's why we put up the two billboards. Okay. But, no, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. It's just crazy. But anyway, nevertheless, because I was going to say, we did Classic and Sincere, but I think we did them on just one highway. I can't remember now. Anyway, nevertheless, I'm trying to think. Anyway, nevertheless, um, the lady seemed like, and she knew exactly what child that uh, we were talking about. She knew we were talking about, because I told her Cody Bixby. Um, she she probably put his name up there. Well, she said he's active in our database. It's just we don't have his picture up anymore. Okay. So if you guys don't have his picture up anymore, but he's active, why would the NICI law enforcement don't have the information anymore? That's what I want to know. You know? See, I am happy that I believe that as justice that we can get for Cody, his father getting 45 years, yeah. Yeah, he won't be getting out. He's gonna rot in prison. And I don't know what he did, but whatever he did, he's gonna rot in prison. I don't know. I don't know if he did it, if Cody's mother did it, has something to do with it, which she probably did. And he's sitting there in jail, acting like, well, you guys will see. Just keep looking for Cody, and once we find Cody, then we'll know. And da 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 da. He knows. He knows that Cody is gone. He knows. Now, what happened? I can't. I'm not like the courts. I can't tell you. He hit him. He hit him in the head. He did this. He did that. He did this. I can't tell you. I can't tell you what happened. But he had time to get rid of the child. Whether the child got sick, he lost his cool, he got into something he wasn't supposed to get into. It was an accident. I can't tell you guys that. I'm not no mind reader. I'm not no nothing of that nature. But let's.
And now to a grim anniversary in Hampton. Tonight marks 2 years since Codi Bigsby vanished. He was just 4 years old. While the little boy has never been found, his father is set to go to trial for his murder in just over a month. Thanks for staying up a little later. I'm Dan Kennedy. Ever since Codi disappeared, members of the community have been stepping up to help find him. And tonight, some of those activists came together for a candlelight vigil in his honor. Brenda McIntosh was there.
2 years since his disappearance, activists have not stopped spreading Codi Bigsby's story, and tonight's candlelight vigil served as a testament to their continued efforts.
And have a moment of silence for Codi. You can cry.
Dozens gathered to light a candle in honor of Codi Bigsby. Wednesday marks 2 years since the then 4-year-old's father, Corey Bigsby, reported him missing.
Codi's a very special baby. I think he captured the hearts of a lot of us.
Nancy Strickland is among many community members that have come together to search for the young boy and spread awareness.
We've been through it. We've been through it with Codi, searching and events and keeping the fence cleaned up.
The candlelight vigil took place outside Buckrow Point Apartments, where a tribute for Codi has stood since 2022. But as the night came to an end, people removed the tributes they placed on the fence years ago.
Just surprised that they let it stay this long. Normally, memorials don't last 2 years. So we appreciate it. We're grateful, but we're also sad.
It's sad, that the fence has to come down. But we kind of knew, we couldn't be up here forever.
A notice on the fence says crews will remove all items next week, but people tell me the fence will always serve as an unofficial reminder of Codi.
I just love Codi. Everything about him, he touched everybody's heart.
In Hampton, Brenda McIntosh, 13 News Now.
We have to.
A lot has happened in the 2 years since Codi disappeared, so let's go back to the beginning to figure out how we got here. Codi's father, Corey Bigsby, reported him missing the morning of January 31st, 2022. Just 3 days later, on February 3rd, Hampton police arrested Corey on unrelated child neglect charges. And on February 5th, Corey was officially named a person of interest in the case. A judge denied Bigsby bond 5 times before finally granting him an $80,000 bond in June of 2023. The move came just a few weeks after prosecutors charged Corey with the murder of his son. On November 9th, a judge ruled that statements Corey made in jail can be used as evidence in his upcoming trial. Several corrections on.
Now, this is when they granted the father bail to get out in 2023. They took Codi's picture down.
Officers testified that Corey admitted to burying Codi's body. Bigsby's defense team said he was coerced into making those admissions. Bigsby's murder trial was supposed to take place in November, but the defense asked the judge to push it back. It's now set to begin on March 4th. And Codi's disappearance has also prompted Virginia lawmakers to create a new emergency alert system for missing children. The so-called Codi alert would be issued for those under the age of 18 whose whereabouts are unknown or whose disappearance is under suspicious circumstances. This isn't a done deal yet. It's only passed the state Senate and still needs to make its way through the House.
Okay. So I'm going to tell you guys something, and we're going to get off of here. So they were like, we were going to pass a bill for Codi. Yeah. You know what bothers me the most is you're going to pass a bill about how you're going to investigate and detect children, and you don't even have this child on the missing and exploited children poster. The whole entire time Virginia is doing this. Now, they did do a good job as far as taking Corey to court and the proceedings of finding him guilty, conviction 45 years. But I mean, and that was like a circus, because every time you turn around, first they say, no, you can't get out of jail. 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 Okay, we're going to give you an $80,000 bond. And then he's walking out of jail. He's walking out of jail. And that wasn't good. And then, Athena, what's her name? Amina Matheny. She was trying to make a name for herself. Like, yeah, it was a very big case, but you don't hear her name anymore. I don't know what she's doing now. Matter of fact, let me just look her up and see what she's doing. Let me just look her up and see what she's doing. Amina Matheny, attorney, Virginia. No attitude, no answers. Amina Matheny Willard has over 25 years of experience practicing law in the Commonwealth of Virginia. The law firm of Amina Matheny Willard. So she's got a law firm now, downtown near West Side. Yeah, that's her. She's open from 9 a.m. She's got a phone number there. She wanted Amina for president of Norfolk Criminal, a counselor of law over 20 years. Let me see. The people's attorney. She says, I have been practicing in Norfolk, Virginia for over 20 years. I will fight for you. She got 5,951 likes, 175 talking about this. Amina Matheny, lawyer in Virginia, Chesapeake. Let me see what she's doing. Okay, Court of Appeal opposed sanctions against attorney Amina Matheny Willard ran against the Democrat for the Commonwealth at 2024. Somebody got on there. Amina Willard is an amazing attorney that cares about people in their rights. Not care, but cars. Here it is, 2020, and she's still fighting for my family. Where were they when he left his children home alone? That's what people say. I would definitely recommend. Somebody put this 6 days ago, went above and beyond. She has connections and is able to really fight for you. She is not just an exceptional attorney. She is a rare gem in the legal world. Her genuine empathy, unwavering. Now, I'm not going to say she wasn't bad. She did her job. Great lawyer. Well, she's got one complaint against a business. She's like, if you suffer from a car accident, slip, falls, workplace, medical malpractice, lawyer tried to have Norfolk's top prosecutor investigator. Motion to reconsider bond on Corey Bigsby. It was a 10-page. She did that. She did that. Oh, I'm going to read that a little bit. Oh, it's so little. Let me pull it up. Okay. She filed it June the 13th, 22. She says the motion, in support of the motion to reconsider bond, Mr. Bixby states follow. The Hampton Police Department and Hampton Commonwealth Attorney charged Mr. Bixby with 7 counts of felony child neglect on February the 3rd. The Hampton Police Department, in conjunction with the FBI, denied Mr. Bixby his constitutional right to counsel upon his request, a fact admitted by the Hampton Chief of Police. The Hampton Police Department, in conjunction with the FBI, subject Mr. Bixby to enhanced interrogation techniques over several days by questioning, including but not limiting it to sleep deprivation, because the Hampton Police Department and FBI erroneously believed that Mr. Bixby was involved. The Hampton Police Department and FBI pursued and ends justify the means approach with regards to the questioning of Mr. Bixby. However, in their obsession regarding Mr. Bixby, law enforcement was deflated in their duty to find Cody Bixby. When their attempt to browbeat Mr. Bixby did not work, the Commonwealth sought his extended pretrial incarceration. The extended pretrial incarceration of Mr. Bixby has continued. The ends justify the means approach to his investigation, which has led to Mr. Bixby's rights being abused and precious resources being wasted that could be used to find Cody. The Commonwealth attorney argued that Mr. Bixby is a person of interest in the disappearance of Cody Bixby. The Commonwealth attorney went further to suggest that Mr. Bixby may have been involved in the disappearance of his son at his first bond and at the second bond hearing, leading his court to believe that Mr. Bixby would likely be facing further charges, especially involving the disappearance. This court relied on the Commonwealth assertion that Mr. Bixby was a suspect in his son's disappearance to continue his pretrial incarceration. The Commonwealth duped the courts, the citizens of the city of Hampton, the citizens of the Commonwealth of Virginia, and indeed the nation, into believing that they had probable cause to file charges against Mr. Bixby. Then she put in here, related to Cody's disappearance, when in fact they have no such probable cause. The Commonwealth deception was not only to my client's detriment, but also to the detriment of Cody Bixby as well. Since the previous bond hearing, the Commonwealth has seemingly sealed its investigation, no doubt motivated by a bias against Mr. Bixby that precludes any ability to be fair and impartial. Mr. Bixby's minor son remains missing, and instead of looking for Cody, an investigation all possible leads, the Hampton Police Department and the Commonwealth attorney has chosen to use endos and public outrage to keep Mr. Bixby incarcerated. The Commonwealth attorney argued during Mr. Bixby's bond hearing, and he recently interviewed with Court TV, stating Mr. Bixby's pretrial release may result in Mr. Bixby destroying evidence. The court took this concern very seriously and denied again. It says Mr. Bixby asserted that a reconsideration of the court refused to admit him to bond is appropriate to Virginia. See exhibit, and the several charges in this One of those changes specified related to the classification of Mr. Bixby as a suspect in Cody's disappearance and the Commonwealth assertion that Mr. Bixby may destroy evidence. No words written in a defense motion for relief can be louder and clearer than the Commonwealth failure to find Cody Bixby or charge the person responsible for the disappearance. Okay. Mr. Bixby loves and cares for his son and absolutely denies any involvements in Cody's disappearance. Mr. Bixby is dependent that he cannot search for Cody, given the Commonwealth conduct to this investigation. It is time that the court solely consider the child abuse neglect charges and the facts before it. It may be true that indefinite incarceration and enhanced interrogation techniques generated more confessions for the corrupt law enforcement officers, agencies that use them, but they are entirely un American concepts that have no place in the criminal justice system. Mr. Bixby was treated like an enemy, combative, a Guatemala Bay, or not suspect of a crime in the United States. It is absolutely time for the court to end this injustice, consideration, and fact before it. This court released Mr. Bixby from pretrial incarceration. It should be noted that Mr. Bixby's pretrial incarceration is grossly hindering counsel efforts to prepare him for his trial. That's pretty much what she's saying. He will not appear for trial or hearing or such other time and place as may he direct. Mr. Bixby was honorably discharged by the U.S. military and he receives his full retirement benefits. In order to accomplish this, Mr. Bixby was required to follow orders, comply with instructions, allow himself to be instructed and directed effectively for 20 years. He owns a home in Hampton and he looks forward to being emancipated of those charges. Oh, God. I would read more of this, but something tells me my phone don't want me to, so I won't. Look, they had the picture on the news when talking about the remains being found here in Atlanta. I know, you guys, I know. I was looking at Amina Matheny, but anyway, I want you guys to know, like, well, she didn't do a bad job. I'm not talking about, like she's great, but I mean, she did her job, but I always wanted to know, what did they write? And I won't know because my phone is going dead. But anyway, nevertheless, yes, so we did get that information, and yeah, it's upsetting. And I slept through the night and thought about him all night. That settles that. I really just hold on. Let me put this phone on the charger real quick. No, Diesel. About what was on you guys' mind about that information. I'm just still disturbed about it, to be honest with you. I there's nothing we can do about it, or maybe we can. I don't know. If you guys can come up with, instead of one that asked me, why did you call the woman up and She just told you the same thing that we know. Well, evidently you didn't know because it's been since 2023. It's 2026. So evidently you didn't know. And just because it's been a long time and nobody questioned it doesn't mean it's too late, or to question it now. I mean, did we just want Corey to be locked up? Is that all we wanted? I don't know. I don't know. Sometimes I don't know what you guys be wanting out of these cases. You say you love these kids, and especially when somebody mistreat a child, whether you know the child, have never seen the child before, or never placed a finger on the child. So that doesn't mean anything. That it doesn't. It just, I mean, it's a baby. Do you guys not know it's a baby? It's a whole child. It's not a whole child. When my grandson comes in here and gives me a big old hug and everything, I'll be like, God, I mean, like, that's a whole person that is now gone, never going to have kids, never going to grow up, never going to ride a bike, never going to get married, never going to go to school, never going to have a job, never going to know what love is, never going to be married, never, nothing. It's like the whole life is just gone. And we got to do better. We just got to do better with understanding how these entities of agencies work, and they don't work, and I don't know. I don't believe it's a black thing. I don't believe they took the picture down because the child was black. I don't believe that. And the only reason why I say that is because, I mean, we're talking about an agency that is, trying to do a job to support children, period. So I don't think they look at that as a color thing, like, oh, we're going to take his picture down because, I mean, he's black and he just doesn't mean anything. I'm just saying, you guys, I don't, but it does bother me how easily it probably was taken down and not mentioned. I think the transparency of that, and like I said, the reason why they don't have transparency is definitely not because they found him. She says, I wanted justice and I want this baby to have peace and rest. So I guess I'll want both. But in this case, you got to have one or the other. And that's messed up. They will find him. Zena says they will find him. Tina says, SP, you look how long these other kids are up there. You can't tell me it's not a black thing. I think it is. And that's wrong of them. No, I'm thinking, Tina, the reason why I don't think it's a black thing is because the police went really, really hard on Corey. They knew right at the beginning that Corey's lying, and Corey was, everybody was thinking Corey was a dummy, and this, that, and the other. And the police officer told you, what was his name? His name was Mark something. He was like, don't think that this man is not smart. He knows. He knows. Now, he may stayed at the police station, and he could have left us whenever he wanted to, but he thought he was smart. And yeah, he probably was a narcissist. He's gonna show how smart he is, and on this, that, and the other. And he asked for an attorney, and they didn't give him one, and that was just gonna get him out. It just didn't. Mark Turber, yeah. But Mark Turber said it. He was like, "Oh no, we know." So, I for them to ask for his picture to be taken down, I think it was something more to that, to have his picture taken down. Now, that's the conversation. And it's probably because there's probably was sightings of him, or they were still looking. They don't believe he was deceased, that maybe somebody had him, like the mother or a family member or something. Because I'm going to tell you guys something, and I'm going to say this, that I did not, when the report came in about Cody's missing and this, and he just walked away and it was cold and they didn't see no footprints of his and this, that, and the other. I don't believe he came up missing that day. So just take that out the equation. We talked about that before. I don't think he came up missing that day. It was prior to that. But I just think that somebody went in the house and took the baby out. I always thought that. How long was Corey out before he was rearrested? I don't know, Zena. We'll look into that. I know that in June of 2023 is when they let him out. He was found guilty in, what was it, March of 2024. But he went to court all that time. You guys understand what I'm saying? So almost about some time went around. You know? So, exactly. So I'm thinking and here's the thing, when Corey got out of jail in 2023, they took Cody's picture down. There had to been a reason why they took Cody's picture down then. They didn't take his picture down. And I just wonder when. I think, I think we can call and ask them, well, when? Because then that'll give us, like, did they take it down after Corey got out of jail? Because they took it down in 2023. And if they took it down in 2023, they probably was listening to conversation, trying to understand where this child could be. This child probably was somewhere alive, somewhere. Somebody was taking care of the child or had the child. I'm just saying, you guys, and I said this once before, and and I just, when a victim is a victim, the mom's a victim. Also, people's like, the mom is a victim. She lost her child and da 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 da. And I'm like, yeah, I know, I understand, but it was just something strange about her, I mean, I don't care, your child missing, presumed to be deceased. You on TikTok doing a dance and this, that, and the other. Like, yeah, I know you're gonna feel sorrow here and there, but and I know people be like, people grieve differently, SP. People grieve like, do not even come for me. Do not do that because you would get read your rights really quick, because I really don't care. Um, it just, one thing I know for certain, and two things I know for sure, that not just me, but for everybody that's in here, if you lost a child, that's not something you would be doing. Now, if you're gonna tell me after your child died, you get on TikTok and start doing this collaborating dance with somebody, and that's how you're trying to lift yourself up and da 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 and all this other stuff, you're lying. You're lying. You're lying to yourself, and you just want to argue so you can go argue with somebody else. That is not like, no. Um, I ain't never seen nobody when I lose my mother, I lose my brother, lose a grandparent or something. That is the last thing on my mind is TikTok. That's the last thing on my mind. Like, I can barely get up and wash my tail, let alone eat. And especially, and here's the thing. It's not like it was a natural death, you guys. So you got to understand that when you start talking about people grieve differently, it's not like, oh, this person just died in their sleep, or they're old, or they had this sickness, this illness, we were waiting on it. This is actually a baby is missing, and that's it. That's an undisturbing, you can't even close the door. You know what I'm saying? To the possibilities of what have happened, let alone sit there and start dancing. You know what I'm saying? So I said it once, I say it again. I got ate up long time ago about what I said, but like I said, I really went like at the end of the day, I really just don't care. I just something wasn't right. And I felt that then. I still feel it now. I'm just standing on it like I did before. Like, and like the mom had something to do with it, and she probably even had the baby. And this is what I thought, because someone asked me, well, what do you think happened? I think that he went to the store one night. He went to the store, and she went into the house, and Codi came downstairs, and she took Codi with her. And since he thinks she didn't know where he lived or haven't been over there, she didn't tell him she has Codi. And so then he waited to see, this, that, and the other, or whatever. And she didn't tell him. Like, she took the child once before, the child in Missouri, in Kansas City. And nobody knew that she had the baby until the police showed up and they found out that she had the baby. So, and I think she hid the baby. That's what I think happened. I just do. I just did. And I still do. I still do. Because at the end of the day, if this child that they found in Georgia is Codi, and the baby is 6'7", that means somebody had that child. And then guess what? Oh, now y'all will sit there and say, okay, SP, I now think that you were on something. Oh, really? Yeah. Yeah. Because if this child now, now, I don't know if this is the same. This is Codi. You would think they would have said something. They don't have to say something. They don't have to say, yeah, we done identified the child. The child is Codi Bixby, blah, blah. Because then guess what? That's going to open up a whole big can of worms. It's going to open up a whole big can of worms. Like when this child came up missing, the child was 4. This child is like 6 or 7, almost 8. That means Codi wasn't dead. So now what? Y'all gonna have to let Corey Bixby out? No, we don't want to let Corey Bixby out. So we're gonna keep asking, who is this child? We don't know, because you would already know if this is Codi. You would have his DNA. You would already know. You would already know. Now, would you tell us? No, you wouldn't tell us. Because at the end of the day, you would have to try to get some things together, like how is now we find this dead child at the age of 6 or 7. You guys understand what I'm saying? Y'all put a 1 in the chat if you understand what I'm saying, because I don't know. I don't know if you guys are even paying attention. You guys are just not even talking. It's kind of like, we used to have Sonia Watts in the building, and Sonia Watts would say hi to everybody and keep y'all to talking, and now y'all just don't say nothing. Y'all just don't even say a word. I'll be like, dang, am I talking to myself? Like, I can only tell you what I'm thinking about. But I mean, I want to ask you guys a question before we get off of here. Thank you, Lisa Taylor. So, if, and I say if, it's a high possibility, it don't have to be. But if this child that they found in November, ends up, because sooner or later, they're going to have to tell us, sooner or later, they're going to have to say, it's Codi, and there is a hairline there that looks like Codi, the nose look like Codi, the mouth look like Codi. Oh my goodness. If it is, it's a high possibility it could be. It could be. Do you not know Corey Bixby will be getting out of jail? Because he went to jail for murder. You guys understand that? Okay, I got your attention now, didn't I? I got your attention now. He'll be getting out of jail. Because there ain't no murder if that is Codi. And last time Codi was with him was Codi was 4. Corey be getting out of jail. You guys understand? Remember, they did not charge him for all the child neglect. And so that's a conversation in itself, you guys. So yeah, they're okay, because just think about it. Okay, November, they find this baby in a freaking suitcase. And the child is 6, 7 years old. Codi disappeared when he was 4. So 4, 5, 6, 7. 3 years later. Misty Blue says, and the plot thickens. Exactly. You guys understand what I'm saying? Corey would be getting out of jail. Huh? That's why I say you guys got to really, like last night when it was, we got off of here and and think it was a lot to think about. She said, yes, I do know that. Okay, and how you going to feel about that? That, yeah, now we see that the child, it makes it look like somebody took the child. And somebody probably did take the child. I'm not saying somebody, like he made this up. I'm saying like somebody went into the house, like the mother went into the house and took the child. That's what I thought from day one. If you guys remember me saying that, I don't know if you guys remember me saying that. I said, I believe the mom went in that house and took the child. Well, why she didn't take the other kids? Well, she was just wanting to put a scare into this man and this, that, and the other. But maybe Cody heard her or seen her or something, and she took the child, and she didn't tell him she took the child, and da 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 da. And he just waited and waited and waited, and he probably said, well, she'll bring the child back if I'll just go ahead and call the police and say that the child is missing. And she was like, I don't know where the child is. And da 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 da. Well, they knew where she was that day. They knew where she was that day when she called her job said, oh, she was at work on January the 30th and January the 31st. Well, the child probably been missing for maybe a week. So he just made up a story and said, well, he came and asked me, he wanted to go outside and play. Da 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 da. She said, I think Corey was very manipulating in everything and everyone he dealt with. But sometimes it's a very simple answer to things. And when everybody wanted to say, like I said, well, why would the mother come and get an attorney? Your child is missing and they telling you to come down to the station, your child is missing. You don't go run and go get a criminal attorney. I'm just saying. You guys understand what I'm saying? And people was like, SP, you're going after this black mother and da 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 da, and she's a woman and da 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 da. I said, you know what? I'm going to say it like this. When it comes to a child, I don't care who you are. The things that you've done, it doesn't make sense. And so therefore, yeah, we're going to be watching you and things. Cena says, but remember, y'all, Corey never took the kids to the doctor. Remember that. Yeah, but they still got. What does that mean, Tina? Because he never take the kids to the doctor. That don't mean nothing. They still got the baby's DNA. The baby was born in a hospital. They got that baby's DNA. If they found Cody alive, I don't think they would tell us because they want him to stay in jail for him abusing those other kids. Let me tell you something. We're not talking about Cody being alive. We're talking about that baby that's in the suitcase. We're talking about the baby, the child that they found in Rockdale, Georgia, in the suitcase. What if that is Cody? What if it is? They didn't say it's not. Normally, remember this, you guys. Remember when there was a child in a suitcase in, I think it was Georgia. I think it was in Georgia or whatever. And some girls said, oh, they went down there to see this baby. And then we made the phone call. And they was like, the woman at the funeral home was like, I said, y'all showing uh anybody the baby? And she was like, nobody seen that baby. I said, yeah, they seen the baby. They came back and said that you guys let them see the baby. Now, I don't know, maybe one of your staff members let them see the baby, but they said they seen the baby. She says, ma'am, there is no baby. It was bone. It was a sack of bones, and we buried that months prior to the funeral. Y'all remember hearing that? And remember, because I recorded it, because we was wondering why somebody got mad, because they was like, well, we decided we was going to send you down there and you could have went. And I said, I couldn't have went. Oh, because you needed to work. I said, no, because there is, when a child is in a suitcase for time, they're not going to show that to anybody. They're not going to show that to anybody. There's no way you can recognize who it is. They're not even going to show that to the family. Like, it's a sack of bones. How are you going to identify a sack of bones? You're not. They will show you a watch, a ring, a shirt or something, or a shoe or a hat or something that they had on or whatever. But they're not going to show you a sack of bones. They're just not going to do that. But they said that they don't know who this child is and this, that, and the other. But then the resemblance of this picture, the first thing Pooh Bear said when he seen the picture, he said, they found Codi. He looked at the baby's picture and they said, they found Codi. That's what he said. Now that's a kid. That's a kid the same age as Codi. That's what he said. She said, if it is Codi, then I will be surprised. I will be emotional. You would be emotional because what? Because Corey is going to get out of jail? Or would you then think, now you're thinking like I was thinking back then when everybody was in my DMs saying you should be ashamed of yourself to even think the mother had something to do with it. I said somebody went in that house, possibly it could have been, and got that child when he went to the store. Now, knowing how people think, it could have been a lover. It didn't have to be the mom, but we didn't hear about the emails and the text messages that mom had after the fact. That she said something about, you're going to do something to the baby, you're going to do something to Codi, da 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 da. She probably already had that baby, and he don't know. He don't want to say, "Hey, the baby's missing," or "Did you come over here and get the baby?" or whatever. He don't want to tell her that. He thinking, well, maybe somebody will find the baby, or maybe somebody will bring the baby back, or that's probably why he thinking the baby walked out the house. He wasn't at home. He wasn't at home when they came and got the baby. When my mom died on the New Year's Eve, my sister had a whole party. Well, Zena, this is what I'm talking about, okay? Here's the thing. When your mom passed away, was it a natural death? Was it something? You see what I'm saying? So not all deaths are the same. And people do have parties when sometimes people pass, but when a child is missing and presumed to be deceased, people not gonna have parties and be dancing. I would be emotional not because Corey is out of jail. I would be emotional because they found Codi. You know, they I just I'm hoping that they will tell us soon that is Codi or that's not Codi. Because right now, they know. They know alone. They knew back in November. Then November the 14th is when the inspector found the baby in the suitcase. Somebody was hiding that baby. They probably had the baby and was doing things to the baby or whatever. They was feeding the baby or whatever. So it had to be a family member or something. I mean, it didn't have to be a family member, but then he said, well, he just walked away from the house and somebody had the baby and nobody looked for the baby. So now they found the baby and the baby's in a suitcase in Georgia, Georgia or something. And yeah, yeah. I, I wouldn't put it not past in years. You guys come back and say, guess what? You're not even going to remember I said this. You're going to say, they're going to arrest the mother. And then you guys going to say, oh, well, SB, I thought you was kind of just crazy. I don't know about being crazy, you know. But I tell you what, criminals learn from what other people think and they do and they say and things of that nature, and then they try to act like they innocent, and things of that nature. But there was information that I had given them and called them and told them about, that I had seen and found, that we didn't even talk about, you guys, to be honest with you. I didn't even talk about it, and it had to do with the mother. It had to do with the mother, and I'll just put it like that. And that's I just don't come up with something like when something bad happens, the first thing I want to do is blame somebody. I don't. But some people said something one day, and they said that they were going to go be where Codi was at, and the girl, her name was Blue or something, that came in our chat, was chitting, chatting, and whatever. She had something to do with the conversation. Y'all don't remember all of that, do you? Okay, I know you don't. Remember, she got so mad, she quit coming. I told her to come on up. I had something to talk to her about, and I was going to talk to her about it that day. And she was like, I can't believe that you're saying something bad about the mother. Well, that's because they were in a relationship. They were in a whole relationship. You guys hear what I said? I'm not gonna even let you talk to the mother because I got her front and her back, and I still got all that stuff, and I erased it, but I don't think it's erased. I think they are using that number 6 or 7 as a guess by definite age. But here's the thing: whether he's 6 or 7, it's still going to tell us that he was still alive after the age of 4. Whether he was 5, 6 means he was still alive. 7 means he was still alive. Anything after 4 years of age, that means that baby was still alive. hmm And somebody got away, and it couldn't have been Corey. Somebody got away with killing that baby, and it wasn't Corey. So they definitely would have to. Corey's getting out of jail. Corey would get out of jail. And now, then what? Then you want to go and get. Then you'll get on the bandwagon and say, okay, SP. I guess you know. You think you know everything. You think you know. No, I didn't say I know everything. I just said that, man, you guys, these people out here in this world, I don't put nothing past nobody, whether they a woman, a mama, a sister, daddy, black, pink, white, purple, a judge, a doctor, a lawyer, a police. I don't care. There's guilty things that guilty people act like, they talk like, or they don't act like they're supposed to act. They don't walk like they're supposed to walk. And that doesn't make them guilty, but it's very suspicious to me. So when it's suspicious, I just say, well, it could be a possibility. And people get mad. They get hot. Oh, my God. Let me tell you what I tell my kids all the time. I mean, since my kids are little, my kids will tell you. Like, my kids walk in the room and something, and I'll tell them to go put my purse up. I'll go put my purse up and lock it up. And they're like, dang, mama, why you do that? I'm your kid. I don't care who you are. You know what? I don't want to accuse you. I don't want to walk in the kitchen and come back and my money's missing or my ring's missing or something. I don't want to have to even think that I put you in a position that you were there when it came up missing. I'm doing you a favor by taking it out the equation or taking you away from the equation, so I don't have to think that, because a broke person will steal. If you don't have money, you will steal. People be like, no, I won't. I just go broke. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Don't eat for a week or two and find out. Okay? Don't tell me what you will do, what you won't do, and I love the Lord. I'll just sit there and starve. I'll do this. I'll do that. Yeah. What I'm saying is, it's common sense. When opportunity presents itself, sometimes in our weakest moments, you end up doing something that you don't think is not a big deal. So then, therefore, you're thinking, well, well, I had to eat. People get desperate, and that's why they say desperate times, desperate measures. Things happen. I would hate that this is that child. I would hate it is. Why? First of all, they would have to go back to court and then file charges just for Corey to go to jail, because he lied about so much that it corrupted the whole investigation when the child had already been gone, and whoever had the child, and he basically corrupted, like I said, corrupted the whole investigation, so that there's no way you could find the perpetrator, because we don't know when Codi actually really came up missing. And if he would have just told the truth, oh, I went to the store, I went partying, and when I came back, he was gone. The door was unlocked, and da 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 da. Then we can find who actually did it. But that's not what he said, and he had to stick to what he said, and so that made things look bad. If that is Codi in the suitcase. So this is the second time that we talking about a baby in a suitcase. The second time. The first time the girl said that it didn't look like Codi, that the eyes looked like the babies that was in California, which I was like, oh, they had eyeballs. Oh, what did it look like? Oh, you seen the baby? What did the baby look like? Oh, yeah, they got eyes like Sincere and Classic. I said, oh, really? They was like, yeah. Girl. Okay. Skeletons do not have eyeballs. But nevertheless, you said you seen. Well, what did we see? You didn't see nothing. Girl, if y'all don't stop lying, well, yeah, we did. You stop. Stop. Just stop right there. Stop. Y'all doing way too much. But it's weird how now in Georgia, they have another child, the age between 6 and 7, looks like Codi. The hairline looks like Codi. The nose looked like Codi. The mouth looked like Codi. Even the drawer of the picture put him in a blue shirt, just like Codi's shirt. And then they say no comment. You guys, y'all are going to be very surprised. Zena say they are guessing at the age of the remains. They usually say on age between this and that. Then they find out, oh, he was 4. This child is more than 4. The child that they drew, and you got to remember, it's a drawing. It's not actual, but it is a drawing. And the thing about the drawing is, it is going to be very close to what the child looks like. It's not a actual picture, but it is a drawing. So they do know where the hairline stopped. They do know where the frontal lobe, protrudes out. They know, by the bone structure of the face. Like, yeah, you guys. I'm not gonna be surprised that this is Codi. I'm not gonna be surprised it's Codi. It's going to be unfreaking believable, but then you guys' eyes will probably open up and say, I guess SP was right. I don't think Codi walked out the house and somebody had to go in the house. And so who would have possibly have been? But you can't go put somebody in jail that when the baby died, the person that you put in jail, the baby died after the fact the person was in jail. Because the person can't kill the baby, put no baby in no suitcase when the person is in prison. The person is in prison. So Corey is definitely will be getting out. And then they do not have enough information. They should. I'm just saying. I don't care. If that's why I told y'all I had to go to bed and think about some stuff because it was horrible. It was horrible. Like, why would you take his picture down? Well, the reason why you would probably take his picture down is because the baby is probably still alive somewhere. and you want the safety of the child. That's the only reason why you would take the picture down, unless you already found the child. That's it. That's it. So that tells me that with everything that we know right now, y'all took the picture down in 2023. So you knew that this baby was still alive somewhere. You knew, but you still couldn't find the baby. You knew. That's why Amina Mathini was saying they're not looking for Codi. They're not looking for Codi. Blah blah blah. They're not. That's just stupid. They're not looking for. What do you mean looking for Codi? There was snow on the ground. There would have been footprints of Codi walking away. There would have been somebody that seen that baby or something. They're talking about no. Y'all fixated on Corey. That's because it didn't happen that day, and he knows it. He knows somebody he know took that baby out the house, and it probably was mama. I'm just saying. And I said that from day one, and I don't have nothing to back it up. And he would never would have said that. Because he's sitting there going, dang, don't say nothing to the mama. Don't say nothing to her. And sooner or later, boom. They want Corey out of jail. If they want Corey out of jail, they have to produce Codi. Guess what? They know. Okay? They know. They know if that's Codi or not. They want Corey out of jail. So they were trying to keep the baby safe. That's what I believe. It's a strong possibility that is Codi. Very strong possibility. Matter of fact, where's my phone at? Because I need to read that again. All right. Because I'm going to say this, and then we're not going to stay on here long, you guys. But oh my God. That's a big can of freaking worms. Big can of freaking worms. Anything is possible in this crazy, crazy world. I wouldn't be surprised. Right. Skeleton remains of a child believed to be 8 years old or younger were discovered in a wooded area near Honey Creek Road and Tucker Mill Road in Rockdale County on November the 14th, 2025. The remains were found in a suitcase. The Rockdale Sheriff Police Office is investigating, and no cause of death has been released as of late January 2026. So they don't have the cause of death yet. So a surveyor discovered the remains in a suitcase while inspecting property near Tucker Mill Road. Forensics analysis suggests the child was no older than 8 years old. A forensic facial approximation has been released to help identify the victim. The case is ongoing with authorities asking for public assistance. So, see, what I think what they're doing now is going, look, I think what they're doing now is going, hey, they know who this child is. I mean, the DNA is still going to be in the bone. So they know. But they want to know, okay, so who was on this road? Who drove down this road? What car? Who went? What day did this suitcase could have appeared? Where did the suitcase come from? What do the suitcase look like? Normally they show us the suitcase. They didn't even show us the suitcase. They didn't even show us the suitcase, you guys. Okay. God, this. Bev, you missed a lot. So, Rockdale police deputies are asking the public for help to identify. Man, that looks like Codi. I don't care what nobody say. That looks like Codi. Authorities say on November the 14th, 2025, deputies responded to the woods near Honey Creek Road and Tucker Mill Road after a person found skeleton remains in the area. Read more. They are hoping someone can recognize this child whose remains was found last year. So they're investigating because this child probably did not go to school, but somebody could have seen this child with the mom, with the cousin, with the friend, with the family member, or whatever, because that's a long time. Okay? That's a long time to have this child. When deputies got to the scene, they confirmed that the bones were human. Investigators later determined that the remains belonged to a child who was 8 years old or younger. Authorities created a forensic facial approximation of the child in hopes that someone may recognize them or provide them with any leads in the case. At this time, the cause of the death remains under investigation. They're not going to say. Okay? They can't tell by the bones if he was alive 3 years ago. They will know who he is by the. They can't tell by the bones if he was alive 3. Yeah, they can. They can tell. They can. The bones don't keep, Zena. Bones don't keep growing after an age. The age that they have, that baby wasn't dead 3 years ago. They can tell how long that baby's been deceased. They can tell. But it ain't been no like 3 years he's been deceased in there. Like, you know what I'm saying? Nuh-uh. No. You know what, though? I'm going to say this, and they're looking for who's seeing this child with somebody. And the minute that they get one person that's seen this baby with somebody, guess what's going to happen? Things going to hit the fan. Things going to hit the fan because this baby, because guess what? This baby got curly hair. And Codi had curly hair. Codi had curly hair. This is crazy. This is crazy, you guys. This is crazy. But that's what it says. And I'm going to tell you something. They had this back in November, and they didn't say nothing. They didn't say nothing about it back in November. So now, they're like, this is Rockdale, Georgia. They say Honey Creek Road and Tucker Mill Road. Wait, what they found? Bev. Let me see. Do the Bixby family have any property in Roxdale, Georgia?
Based on results, there's no indication that the Bixby family owns any property in Rockdale, Georgia.
Oh, they spelled Bixby wrong. Based on available information, the Busby family. Is there any family connection, Bixby and Roxdale? Bixby. When I say Bixby, they sell it BIX, and that's not going to help. I can't remember what the mother last name was. Anybody remember what the mother's last name was? Somebody in the thing. No, they found Bev. They found a baby in a suitcase in Roxdale, Virginia, and they got a forensic picture of what the bones that they found, because the baby was in a suitcase, and the child is presumed to be between the age of approximated between under 8. But the picture, I'll show you the picture. Looks like Codi. So the picture that you see on the left side, I'm on live right now.
Oh, okay. Call me back later. Bye. I love you.
I love you, babe. That's the picture of the baby on the left. Of the baby that they found. The picture that a drawer drew of what the child looks like. So that's what we were talking about. But neither here or there, we were just discussing it. We're going to discuss it more on Monday. because they don't know who the child is. But you guys see the hairline and the nose and the mouth. Uh Here's some homework for you guys. Try to find out, try to remember or whatever what the mom's last name was so we can see if they got any connections. And remember, Corey last name was not Bixby. He changed his last name to Bixby. His last name was something else before Bixby, and see if the family got any property in Georgia. I can't remember what Corey's last name was before it became Bixby. See, I can't remember all that stuff. It's been what? Yeah, back in 2022, like 4 years ago. But I can't remember what the mom's name was. I can't remember what Corey's originally birth last name was, but it wasn't Bixby. He changed his name to Bixby. So yeah, I want you guys to know that stuff. And I'm going to say this. Anyway, let me get off here. We'll see what we can find. If you can find anything, bring it in Monday. We'll come on. We're going to come on early Monday. We're not going to come on late. You guys, Monday, be looking for me. Make sure if you can remember the mom's last name, the Corey's original last name, so we can do some searches, find out is anybody from the family down there in Roxdale. I mean, people normally go where they know, and yeah, okay. Bev says Corey Kent White. Was that his name? His name used to be White. Corey Kent White. Let me see. I can't remember if was his name Corey White. Do Corey White have any property in Roxdale, Virginia? I mean, dang. Hold on. Corey Black have any property in Roxdale, Georgia? I put Corey Black on here and says his body was found in the woods. We don't know his. That's kind of weird. Yeah, yeah, the mom's name was Dana. I can't remember what her last name was. Bring Corey to the interrogation room. Have sketch in a folder on the desk. Let me see here. So they say that where he was found is a residential, is mixed of middle and upper class home. It's not vacant and it's not necessary a pass through location for someone to travel from another state unless the father frequently the area because you can get to Stockbridge, Dakota. Believe the family still lives somewhere within. Oh God. Still believe the family still lives somewhere within that region and there aren't any reports of missing children fitting the description from that area. In our news, it states as of this month, February 2026, the remains still have not been identified. Exactly. Somebody say that's not him. Somebody say stop. That is not Cody. This could never be Cody and Corey killed him. They said the mother isn't this close to where she lives. No, she was somewhere like in like the Maryland area, you guys. Maryland and the DMC or whatever that is called, the DC area. Let me see this right here. Oh, they say Darren Glass missing from Atlanta in the 80s. Oh, that wouldn't be the baby. Um, I'm not seeing anything else. Mama, in our news, they said the body found was the size of an 8-year old. Nobody is really saying nothing really important. It's just a lot of people that it can't be him because he's this age, blah, 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 blah. It's like, are you guys serious? Like, So somebody was listening to a pastor this morning pleading with folks who find themselves with an urge to prey on innocent children to seek help and prayers to overcome their addiction and to believe that they can be healed. Mm. I don't like reading people's comments because DC, the mother is DC. Yeah. Yeah, that's nowhere near Georgia. Anyway, um, anyway, that's it. Anyway, I'm gonna get off of here, you guys. We will chat tomorrow. I will let you guys know. No, not tomorrow. I'm sorry. We won't chat tomorrow, but we will chat Monday. We'll come on right time, early Monday.